Welcome, everyone. This is the latest interview in our special community showcase series highlighting the Informs communities, which are comprised of special interest sections, societies, chapters, and forums. Joining me for this latest showcase today is Saša Pekeč with the Fuqua School of Business at Duke University to discuss the Informs auctions and market design section. Saša, welcome, and thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for your kind invitation. Thank you for the opportunity, and I'm happy to be here.
So for those who might not be familiar, can you share a little bit about the section's role and what type of work its members do?
Auctions and market design section is one of the youngest sections at Informs. It started 5 years ago, and it covers a new interdisciplinary area of market design. It grew up from a continual presence of market design topics in Informs community, especially in its annual meetings for almost 2 decades, which were spearheaded by late Mike Rothkopf, who was actually 10th president of Informs. It brought up community of not just operations researchers, but also given the interdisciplinary theme of economists and computer scientists. So as such, it was a natural thing that these kind of activities and interest was calling for creating a community. So like then the section got formed in 2018, and it is, as I said, it's basically covering topics of the interdisciplinary field of market design. So that's kind of like quick overview how what we cover. There are many people who work in operations research in this area, but as I said, it's also it is a community that brings researchers and scientists from areas which were not traditionally finding its first home in Informs. So in that case, it's kind of expanding traditional umbrella of what Informs does.
Now, what would you say are the biggest contributions in market design that you wish the average person knew about?
I think I can separate this question, I think, in 2 parts. I think for academic researchers and for scientists in the field, I think what is the easiest one to say is that, like, in last 10 years, there were 2 Nobel Prizes in economics given for research in market design, and they were given to 2 of our members, who are also Informs members, but our founding board members. One is Al Roth, who actually was a plenary speaker at the last Informs annual meeting, who got the Nobel Prize for his pioneering work in market design in 2012. And Paul Milgram, who won the Nobel Prize for his pioneering work in market design and changing how governments allocate resources, changing lots of things in economics, bringing asymmetric information economics, who is very practical and making a practical impact on all of our lives, which I'm going to talk in the next part. He got a Nobel Prize in 2020 for market design. So there is a very, I think, very, very prominent, and everybody, I think, in professional communities aware. So when you ask what you would say to an average person, maybe out of even Informs professional community, what is market design and how it impacts our lives? It is, so what is market design? Market design impacts our lives because it organizes how we allocate scarce resources one way or another, whether resources are scarce or not, how we organize trade, how we organize any kind of transactions. Concrete example, and that might sound very vague, but when you think about concrete examples, when you think about the largest businesses in the world these days, they are based, their fundamentals of their business models are how basically business transactions are set. For example, think about Alphabet or Google, how Google creates its value is through creating new way how advertising is being transacted. So all of the advertising transactions in Google are based on a novel market design. They create a new design, new way how to connect users with advertisers, with content providers, and so creating this like three-sided market. And the question is, how do you create this market to function properly and to create value for everybody involved? So this is one concrete thing. So like you can think of Amazon being a platform. Is like how do you coordinate this large market? So there, when you think about it, the large scale of like our lives, like the computational speed, communicational speed, heterogeneity of our preferences, complicates how do we find what we want, what we need at the right time, and complicates the process of allocation and pricing, if you like. Who gets what at what price, as one of our Nobel Prize members would say. Al Roth has a book which is called Who Gets What at What Price? Market Design, Who Gets What at What Price, which explains and why also. So when you have these large systems, how do you do that in an optimal way to touch our lives in a proper way? So like the contributions of market design researchers felt every day in the top companies of the world, platform businesses, like from ride-sharing platforms to your food delivery platforms to your interactions with Google, or with your interactions with Facebook, who also lives out of advertisements, to things that governments start to allocate some things that they control. For example, the big celebrated contribution of market design is the one in allocation of frequency licenses in the US. So like the Paul Milgram's Nobel Prize in 2020, one of the parts of the citation for Nobel Prize is the change how the allocation of spectrum, in particular the incentive auction, which was run a few years ago, was helping that public policy and how the society best allocates the frequency spectrum for the best use for the society, and to kind of like satisfy the businesses and us as the citizens at the end of the day. So I would say like big contributions of market design everywhere in your daily life all the time. And from the point of view research, it is very clear and prominent, even though you don't see necessarily in academic structures which change slowly, departments of market design, because the field, given how it developed, is inherently interdisciplinary.
Can you tell us how you personally came to be involved in the section?
I was part of the small group of people who were active participants in these auctions and market design clusters that we were having at annual meetings. And so so it was Bob Day and Martin Bickler who were really spearheading the effort from the point of view of creating the section in 2018. And they also had a strong support from both Al Roth and Paul Milgram to do that. And then also, I cannot miss to say also Carla Hoffman, who is also one of the former presidents of Informs. So these three dignitaries, if you'd like, were super critical in success. But I was helping Bob and Martin who did like majority of heavy lifting to create this section. So like I was involved in the section from the very beginnings. So that's we thought it was important to kind of create a formal umbrella of something that everybody kind of understood what it is, but it was not formalized. So that kind of allows others in the community to realize, okay, this is the place where this kind of activity is happening. And so we try to be as all-inclusive and try to bring in more people in. So I would like to invite anybody who is watching, if you're not a member already, please do join our section, and please do join various activities that our small and young section is trying to produce to serve the community. I mean, like, we are here to serve the community in a coherent fashion.
Could you tell us a little bit about some of those events and activities that the section hosts each year?
Yes, so we continue hosting the cluster on auctions and market design, keeping this traditional name of auctions and market design, even though auctions, one would say, is a part of a market design, of like one part of it, but for traditional reasons we have that. So we had a very busy schedule in annual meetings. We had essentially 2 parallel tracks this year, last year in Indianapolis. We continue and hope that it's going to be the same in Phoenix this year. So I invite everybody to contact me if they think they have like interesting either talks or think about topics that might fit. So this is kind of the main activity. Is for most of societies, the annual meeting is the one where it features the main activities. As every other section, we also have the annual workshop on market design, which is our own section's annual formal activity. And we co-locate this workshop every year with a conference on economics and computation, which is one of the main conferences organized by ACM, which is the biggest computer science organization, which attracts lots of economists and computer scientists, as the name suggests. And so the topics of market design are necessarily there because there are like 2 very important pieces: algorithms and economics, and what informs Briggs operations research. So it's kind of it's natural that we collocate with them. So this is like a 1-day or 2-day workshop, depending on a year, which has a little bit more of a curated and highly competitive submission phase, where we have like some of the featured speakers. And so this event is going to happen this year. I think the plan is EC conference in London in July, so it's going to be actually out of the US. So these are the 2 formal things, 2 formal events we always have. The third thing that we did during COVID, when COVID hit, we were just starting. It was like a second year of our section. So we started the webinar which ran bi-weekly, and then it's kind of like slowed down, and everybody got like had a Zoom fatigue over time with speakers, and some of these seminars were really heavily attended. It provide like some of the top speakers in the field and broadly known, and so that activity was was something that we had. It kind of like died down. We had like only one of these sessions last year, and if there's going to be interest, we might want to do that. So these are some of the formal events. On top of that, our section has like one award, which is named by late Michael Rothkopf that I mentioned earlier, which is Michael Rothkopf Junior Paper Research Award. So that one, we have like a finalists, as many of the section awards. We have finalists presented at the Informs annual meeting, but it's like one of also of the formal activities of the section. And given that we are a young section, we are in continual discussions, and I'm again inviting everybody to talk. If somebody has ideas of different activities, how they can fit, how we can do this outreach a little bit better, I'm really looking forward for any ideas reaching out to me or any of the officers of the society, or just come by the annual meeting or any of our events and just talk to us.
Since you do have an eye toward growing the section, can you just talk a little bit about what are the unique benefits of joining the section? So especially like if someone is in the earlier stages of their career, or even if they're still a student?
We try to be inclusive. We are trying to, what are the unique benefits of joining a session is like you become part of the community if you follow what we do, if you attend the talks in some of these formal events, you get to know other people, and like what I think what we provide as the interdisciplinary section, we provide this connection with communities, as I mentioned before, which are maybe they're not finding necessarily their primarily home in informs, such as economists working on market design problems, and such as computer scientists working on market design problems. And so this provides for especially people who are at younger stages of their career, slightly different perspectives, both on the research problems that other communities find interesting and important, and also for opportunities for professional development, which go way beyond just academia and, for example, all these companies. So we have so when you look at the board, our board, you will see a mix of people who are prominent economists. You will see a mix of people who are some of the most prominent computer scientists also. And you will also see a mix of people who are in academia, but also people who work in these top companies that I mentioned. So, for example, we have a board member right now who is from Microsoft Research, and a board member who is from Meta Platforms, also known as Facebook primarily. So we provide this connection. From formal events, what I think it's interesting, we in the annual meetings, we provide also the award session. We designate as an award section, which we highlight the papers by graduating students or people who are young in their careers, who are looking for professional opportunities in informs, of those papers that were accepted at a highly competitive economics and computation conference that I mentioned. So like we bring out this outreach. So like using the opportunity to be in this section and being in those sessions provides also these young researchers exposure towards this community, which actually doesn't include only people who are primarily, again, in informs, but it provides this insight into maybe how the economists think and computer scientists think, and those who are really at the top of this market design research.
So you've talked a little bit about this mix that you have of people involved in the section. Can you kind of sum up for us what the section does to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion?
As I said, so we are trying to reach out to target young professionals, because at the end of the day, it's, I believe the best research, the changes, improvements always coming from those who are just rising stars, or who are going to be the stars later, not from all people like me or like or somebody who are on the board. We are trying here to provide service, and we are really as I try to describe, and I think you saw that we are deliberately trying to reach out to other communities and show them that there is an interest in the under Informs umbrella for people who primarily do operations research to expand, but also to tell those people to kind of like join under our Informs umbrella and to kind of like facilitate, to maybe break silos if there are any kind of silos of thinking. So be inclusive of all different ways of thinking and different backgrounds and different viewpoints. So that's one way of inclusiveness, but obviously in like what we think about diversity, equity and inclusiveness in general, there are other societal issues that I think Informs rightfully so is promoting, and it should stand up for it. So as on our side, some of the market design problems itself actually addressing those issues research-wise. And we actually, for example, at last Informs, we were coordinating with the DEI initiative of Informs to highlight some of our sessions, which we initiate by Professor Wahid Ahmad-Shadi and Professor Radni Azadeh on socially responsible ethical, so it was called, I think, responsible, ethical, and socially aware operations. So the issues of like, how do you design markets so you don't introduce some kind of like biases, right? So how to make sure that when you kind of like allocate scarce resources in a way, it's like in a very simplistic way, that you don't feed some bias or like correct for bias to kind of like put, ensure that inclusiveness and everything is done properly. These are kind of like really serious issues of algorithmic bias in general that one needs to think about. And so some of these sessions, in fact, that Informs in the last couple of years, also in Anaheim, were some of the most attended sessions that we had. Which I would make like a small comment here, a pitch. I think it was a shame that we didn't get a bigger room, right? So it would be so that's I mean it shows that I think like maybe this is not your question, but I want to say is like it shows that Informs is doing the right thing by putting this initiative on, because there is an interest of the community as demonstrated by people showing up in those sessions, right? And so we provide this service, and we think it's important and we do it. And so these are some concrete things on this other side. So that is one thing, and so that these are the things that I would indicate on these kind of like two different levels of how one can think about words inclusiveness.
So that's great. It sounds like this section has a lot of potential to grow. So if someone is interested in becoming involved in the section, what would be their first step?
Join the section, and then join the discussion boards. You'll see the announcements. But even if you don't join the section, come to our events. So if you happen to be at Informs annual meeting for other reasons, stop by. You don't need to stop by at our business meeting, but stop by in like our cluster talk. It's like find a session that interests you. You're going to see people who are there, and it's open and inclusive, and we welcome you in. But if you want to join formally, obviously you can just join a section. It's one click away. Just choose a section and become a formal member. I think for young researchers, I would say, submit your work to the Michael Rothkopf Award session. Think about engaging in presenting your work either at Market Design Workshop or at Informs, or both. And don't be shy to contact and be part of the community. Community exists for those who want to join and those who are interested in intellectually in what we provide.
Okay, thank you so much, Saša, for sharing this look inside the auctions and market design section, its members, its role in Informs, and in the world beyond. It's been very interesting. And if you have been enjoying learning about the different Informs communities through this series, please stay tuned for more interviews in the coming year.
Thank you so much.